you for joining us here today. We're going to talk about the subject of student development, a subject you all know very well and are experts in. I'd like to introduce Amanda Horton. Amanda is the Assistant Director for Campus Life and Student Programs. Amanda's bachelor's degree is from NC State University, and her master's in higher education is from Baylor University. Also joining us is Shelley Sizemore, Assistant Director of Campus Life for Service. Shelley's a Wake Forest University graduate with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in communications. Annie Carlson is the Associate Director for Student Organizations and Leadership. Annie's bachelor's degree is from the University of Illinois, and her master's degree is from Florida State. Looking at how students grow, especially along the lines of identity development, how students develop their interests, their sense of self, how they make meaning of their environment, who they are, and who they want to become, are all areas that you not only have studied, but have worked professionally in. So I'd like to really begin our conversation today by exploring, in your opinion, what is identity? And what are some ways in which college students can experience growth in the process of identity development?
That's a great question. It's a very big question. Identity development is something that happens throughout our lifespan, but we get to have a unique window into the college experience here at Wake Forest on any college campus for those 18 to 21-year-olds and how they are morphing from being a child to being a true adult and learning how to step out on their own. I think we can foster identity development in lots of ways here at Wake Forest. We do a lot of programs that target specific transitional periods for students. I know through Campus Life and the My Journey initiative, we focus on how students transition from year to year, a 4-year experience. We can look at theories all day long. Chickering comes to mind of how students develop through college. And we try to capitalize on that. So as they are going through those transitions, we're offering them programs that they can connect with, that help guide them along the way, but allow them to really flourish in their own.
I think one of the primary ways that we see students moving along that identity development is through their exposure to and their ability to build relationships with others, particularly others that are different from themselves. So we see a lot of our students really identifying who they are by who they associate themselves with. And college is a great opportunity for our students to come into a brand new environment and interact with people that they may never have interacted with before, or who are from backgrounds that they've never met before. And this allows them to really question some long-held assumptions and truths about themselves through these interactions by their interactions with their peers. One of the great resources that Wake Forest offers are professionals that can assist in that kind of questioning process. And we have great partners in the Office of Diversity and Inclusion through our LGBTQ Center, our Women's Center, and our Office of Multicultural Affairs that really encourage students to make those relationships, to build those relationships with people who are different from themselves, but also can serve as mentors and guides to those students as they are kind of questioning those assumptions and truths about themselves and learning more about others that are different from them.
I think Shelley has some great points, and I would also add to the fact that while students are questioning, they're also questioning the things that are surrounding them and exploring the world. And so we look at another theory, such as Erik Erikson, where students are exploring the world that they develop in, and specifically in college, looking at moral growth and moral leadership, and not only exploring yourself, but the world around you and how you're going to make a difference. So we really, I think, value the collegiate time that students have to be in an environment where they can explore that identity and continue to grow, and then find ways that they can be leaders in our world to change the world as well.
Great, excellent point. So why does it matter how parents respond to students, and especially when they're experiencing some of these changes that we know come along with identity development? In your opinion, what would be some great responses or ways parents could show support of that process?
Well, I think your first question of why does it matter kind of relates back to that first question about what identity development looks like and how it happens in college. What we see in college is a lot of our students really becoming leaders in their own identity and really shaping who they are. Some of them feel like it's happening for the first time as their parents or their primary caregivers. You wouldn't necessarily maybe think that that's the case because you've seen them grow and develop. But because they are alone for the first time off in the world, this is the first time that they really feel like they're leading their own development. And so that's, I think, one of the main reasons why it matters that the parent or caregiver is there to kind of support that student's development and be more of a coach in that kind of leadership role that the student is now taking in their own development.
I think we see this too as a time when, if we want to continue the metaphor with coaching, that students are writing their own books. They're the authors of their own experience, and they're writing some beautiful novels here. And so, you know, we don't want to step in and write that for them, and we would hope that parents would not necessarily want to step in and write that for them as well, but that they would provide support and guidance through writing that experience. And that's a really important piece. I think that there are moments in writing that novel where a student is going to feel really alone and confused and questioning, and a great time also for parents to step in and coach them to say, you know, how do you feel about this? How can you make different decisions to be more successful at school? What are some different ways you would handle this moving forward? And there are times too when students are going to feel incredibly a part of our community and really thriving. And both of those are not only acceptable, but kind of expected in the student experience as well.
Absolutely. College is kind of the unique space where you can have failures and learn from it without kind of a feeling of retribution, or it's kind of a redemptive moment. You can learn from these things, and parents being great coaches and asking great questions to help students make their own way. It's just so valuable to that identity development, so that when they are graduating and leaving Wake Forest in 4 years, moving on to graduate school or a career path or a service placement, that they're able to have that learning experience that they can look back on and capitalize on. It's really powerful.
And that they're able to say, I remember a time when I made a mistake or when I failed and I survived it and it was okay. And so I'm more willing to now take risks in my professional life or even in my personal life. I'm more willing to kind of step out because I know that I can weather the storm.
What I have found interesting, though, in my time working with college students is that this is also a really stressful time for parents. That this opportunity that students are given to explore their identity can often be scary or, frankly, sometimes terrifying for parents because in some ways their students are becoming their own person, and sometimes people that parents might not have been as familiar with in high school. And so I think that for parents that it's a great opportunity to watch, to coach through it, and to know that it's really understandable to be nervous, kind of a little bit scared, concerned about what will come, but know that it'll all be okay in the end.
You all make excellent points, and it just reminds me of this is how young adults build resiliency. They can experience challenges, and with the love and support of their parents and that coaching and encouragement, get through some of those challenges or maybe some of those questioning periods, and come out on the other side with greater clarity in terms of who they are. So building that resiliency is so important, as you all have pointed out in different areas, and knowing that they'll have those skills for the rest of their lives. Thank you so much for your time today. I really value and appreciate your expertise and your dedication to working with young adults, especially with Wake Forest students. We're glad you're here, and I'm so glad that you've challenged our parents to think about moving from a directive role to more of a coaching role. Thank you.